Hey, what is going on, guys? It's your boy Starlightwilliamagician here, back with Q&A number 8. Today we have some questions from my good friend DarkMagician84, and we also have a message. Thank you for answering my questions. I love the channel. Keep going. Thank you for that, mate. I really appreciate that. And DarkMagician84's questions, we have 9 of them. He has asked us for question number 1. You like Dark Magician Girls, the Egyptian Gods, and the Poker Knights. What about any of the other archetypes that Yugi played, like Magnet Warriors, Gadgets, or Summon Skull? Now, those 4 never grew on me like the Magician Girls, Dark Magician, and the Gods did. But my opinion on the others, I don't mind some. Like Summon Skull is quite. Summon Skull is a great monster, considering he only requires 1 tribute and is a 2500 beat stick, which is fucking amazing. And also the fact that Summon Skull has 4 different artworks, which they all just look absolutely menacing. I also like the fact that the Summon Skull, I'm not sure how. Well, it's been God knows how long since I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm pretty sure out of the 4 that I've seen through the entire franchise of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! I kind of liked Summon Skull more than the Magnet Warriors. But then I also liked how Gadgets operated, like the red, the green, the yellow. Now I can't remember if gold and silver were in the, if that was Dark Side Dimensions or the original Yu-Gi-Oh movie, but yeah, no. To answer the question, I don't mind Summon Skull. The Magnet Warriors were just meh in my opinion, but then I did like the Gadget Soldiers. He played the red, green, and yellow, as they did come in clutch in the anime, and they're kind of fun to play IRL as well. Question 2. Thoughts on Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon? Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I'm going in blind with these because I've never actually played Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I have his effect up here. You can reduce the battle damage you take from the attack involving a pendulum monster you control to 0. During the end phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, add 1 pendulum monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of pendulum, or you can only use the effect of each pendulum effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon once per turn. And then I think his normal effect is if this card battles an opponent's monster, any damage this card inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Which seems like a really good effect, but my knowledge on pendulums isn't strong. But just gauging by his effect, I imagine he'd be quite a good card in most pendulum decks. But you lot will have to correct me on that. But I do like his monster ability, which is any damage this card inflicts to your opponent's doubled. That does seem like quite a clutch effect. And then it also has the ability to search for a pendulum monster, which I suppose is pretty decent, because considering you can just bring pendulums back quite a lot as they don't go to the graveyard, is pretty overpowered in my opinion. Question 3. Thoughts on Fireball Dragon? Fireball Dragon is the Link 2 monster. Once while face up on the field, quick effect, you can target 1 monster in the field and or graveyard, up to the number of co-linked this card. Return them to the hand. If a monster this card points to is destroyed by a battle and sent to graveyard, you can special summon 1 Cyberburst monster from your hand. You can only deactivate the effect of Fireball Dragon once per turn. Right, well, first of all, this is actually a decent card. It's a Link 4, which you would co-link quite a few times to get into him. 2500s, as most protagonist monsters are, such as the Dark Magician, Elemental Hero Neos, and this. Um, yeah, so the effect to target a monster on the field and graveyard up to the number of co-links return to the hand, which is decent because I'd imagine. Well, I've seen Cyburst decks and how they play. You could co-link quite a lot, and then you can return monsters from the field to the graveyard up to the number of co-links returned to the hand. Yeah, so I'd imagine this is quite a decent effect for grabbing monsters back from your graveyard, so then you can just continue your link plays. And then if a monster of this card points to is destroyed by battle and sent to graveyard, especially on one Cyburst monster from your hand. Yeah, which that's also a great effect if something's pointed to is destroyed by battle, sent to the graveyard, especially summon a monster. So yeah, no, so just overall, my opinion, my thoughts on this card, it's decent. Like, I haven't seen any gameplay, which is why I can't actually tell you more about my opinion. But gauging by its effects, I'd imagine this card does have quite a big use in Cyburst decks. Question 4. Thoughts on Starlight Red Dragon Archfiend? Starlight Red Dragon Archfiend, one of my favourite Red Dragon Archfiend monsters out there. Aside from the original, Starlight Red Dragon Archfiend is up there. And then Archfiend has the effect. If this card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field and graveyard, once per turn you can destroy as many other special summoned effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less or equal to this card and inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed, which is a absolutely disgusting effect. Literally, it's only a level 8, so you just got to synchro summon into you sort of synchro summon into this Red Dragon Archfiend instead of the original. Not only that, you could destroy as many special summon monsters on the field and you inflict 500 damage. So you can do some big damage to this card if you go second. Yeah, so you go second, and then also a lot of Red Dragon Archfiend decks, like mine's fairly consistent. So if I end up getting into this, then you literally just pop most of your opponent's monsters. There's a lot of monsters to special summon nowadays. Inflict big damage and then maybe attack if you can end up getting through with it. But yeah, my thoughts on this card, it's an amazing card. Top 5, well, it's in my top 10 favourite synchro monsters of all times. Question 5. Thoughts on Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon? Galaxy Eyes is just Galaxy, like the whole Galaxy deck in general is just amazing. Like, yeah, this was my first like proper built up deck, and I used to play the living shit out of it, and I loved every moment of it. But then, especially that Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon has an amazing effect where you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing 2 monsters with 2,000 or more attack. And then during battle step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, your opponent you can banish this card and your opponent's cards, and then return both those monsters at the end of the turn. And if you banish an XYZ monster, this card gets 500 attack for each material it had. Which, not only is this card a big 3000 beat stick, it also has the effect of banishing this card and an opponent's monster. So you can easily get through an opponent's monster with this card's banishing effect. And I believe it works both ways, though, if your opponent attacks it and if you attack your opponent's monster, which I do find fascinating. And then also, just like Galaxy Eyes is super easy to get into, especially if you're playing it with the Galaxy deck, because a lot of the monsters just special summon themselves, or they get help special summoning by having a photon monster on the field, which I will do a deck profile on that soon. I need to complete my one. You know, my overall thoughts on this card is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favourite protagonist main monsters, just surely because it just looks fucking dope. And if anyone has never played Galaxy Eyes, I would highly recommend playing it. Just shitty because it's such a fun deck to play. Question 6. Thoughts on Red Eyes Black Dragon? Uh, Red Eyes, Red Eyes, Red Eyes. I sound like I don't like it, but if we're just talking about Red Eyes Black Dragon itself, not including the deck, it's okay. Like, it's there's better monsters I can think of out there than just Red Eyes, but aside from the fact that it looks cool, it's the exact same as having a Dark Magician, but Red Eyes is just worse. Like, because it's only a normal monster, same as Dark Magician, but it's got 2400 attack and 2000 defense. But then it's just, apart from the fact that it looks cool, I don't really rate Red Eyes Black Dragon, if that makes sense. So, overall opinion, not my kind of monster. Question 7. Thoughts on Stardust Dragon? Stardust Dragon is the complete opposite of what I just said about Red Eyes. Stardust Dragon is an amazing monster. Has the effects, you contribute this card to negate the activated effect, and if you destroy it, then during the end phase, if an effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So, this is a fascinating card. Just, there's a bit of lore behind it, but I'm not going to dig into that in this video. But if you know, you know the lore behind Starless Dragon. But no, like Starless Dragon Synchro, like this card, I mean, what is it? It's got like 3 artworks, and I love every single one of them to bits. Not only that, Stardust Dragon is again in my top 10 favorite synchro cards to actually play. Not only that, like it's a decent card itself. 2500 attack, 2000 defense. It has the negate, and then it could be brought back as long as the negate wasn't negated. Yeah, no, just overall great card to play. Like it hasn't. I don't see much competitive play with Stardust Dragon like the original one. But then, with like the other Stardust Dragon monsters, it is pretty decent. But yeah, no. Overall, Stardust Dragon, amazing card, 10 out of 10. Rate it. Thoughts? Question 8. Thoughts on Blue Eyes White Dragon? Blue Eyes White Dragon is a beautiful card. Like, not only has it got like 1,000 different artworks, but just the fact that it's just original. Like, you know, it's one of the first monsters you see in the actual series, and then growing up, everyone wants a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Like, just, you know, just Blue Eyes itself is a fun deck to play as well, if you've actually got some consistency in it. Because like pure Blue Eyes, or Brick Eyes as people call it, it just bricks, which isn't fun. But just being able to summon a Blue Eyes is just fun as hell. But then my favourite artwork of the Blue Eyes White Dragon is the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series Blue Eyes, which I can't remember what the set it came in. If you don't know, again, just let me know in the description, because I would love to know what set it's from. But, you know, just Blue Eyes, rate it a 9 out of 10. Great card to play, looks good, big, beefy monster. And yeah, like that's my opinion on it. Last question of the video is question 9. Thoughts on Elemental Hero Neos? Neos. So, normal monster, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Original or OG from GX. Neos itself is a pretty cool monster. Like, I never actually watched GX, which I probably should, but I know I've seen like the fusions of Neos as well, and like half of them do look pretty badass. But just talking about Elemental Hero Neos itself, the card looks decent. Again, it's got pretty decent attack and defense. But judging by the artwork of the, like, I think this is the OG or the GX Neos we're looking at. The card just looks, it looks meh. Like, I mean, I don't mind it, but it just looks a bit much, if it makes sense. Because the Elemental Hero Neos himself, the monster, looks cool. But then the background just looks, I don't know. It's honestly really hard to explain, but the background just looks meh. We'll put it as for now. You know, overall, thoughts on Neos. Great monster. Hasn't got an effect, but honestly, he's a decent. He's a good card to play in Elemental Heroes as well. But he is a key to most Elemental Hero fusions, so you need to play him. But yeah, no, that's it for Q&A number 8. I hope I've answered all your questions. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down below in these comments so I can mention them in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Starlight out.